I know that many people are sort of frustrated when they're trying to learn how to use their mediumship abilities, that they're not seeing something or hearing something. We're using these sort of human sense words. So let's talk about when you say that you see something. Are you actually seeing, like, there was this movie about your life where Ted Danson played you, and the
Yes.
way that he portrayed you is that, when you were sensing something, you would like curl up in a ball because you were feeling, something really horrible. But that could just be Hollywood. So when you're seeing
Oh, you're
something,
so smart, Lisa.
so what do you see? Like, for example, do you see anyone in the room with me right now? When you're seeing, what does it look
No,
like?
because I'm not ready to work. It's first of all, mediumship is like to me, I got that sacred space. You gotta raise your vibration, okay?
Mhm.
And it's like a radio switch that you turn on, and then it works. You're on that vibration, and then when you're finished, you turn it off. And that's really important for medium because, and that came in my development, learning about development, because you're working with your endocrine system, and you don't want to burn that out, always being on. It's like having a ceiling fan running constantly. And eventually, if it runs that way, the motor will burn out. Same thing with our physical body. Those adrenal glands, the endocrine system will be a mess. And I've seen it hurt other people who don't know what they're doing properly in mediumship. So the answer to your question is it's all in development. So the way you said that was really fun in that you said they really want to get to that feeling, that sense. They say, so that to me is they're in the human head. They're trying. You don't try in mediumship. You surrender to it because there's so many mediums out there, baby mediums, beginning mediums who don't know. You don't snatch and grab things. You surrender and let it fall upon you. You let that overshadowing happen, and that's sensitivity. That's patience, and that comes with development, sitting in the stillness of your being. That's really what it's about. So, and your gifts, the medium's gifts, will develop over the years. They develop, they get honed in. The more you get out of the way and let spirit work with you. So, a development circle, I call it development circles, very important for mediumship development because it gives the spirit guides, your team, the opportunities to enhance the vision or enhance the hearing. In the etheric body, in the light body, they have to work like really engineers, and they're working on you to be more open to being able to see. And every medium is different. There are some mediums that are born with clairvoyance; they're able to see right away. And same with hearing. And we're all clairsentient. We all feel. All of us will feel, even when you're not a medium. Every human feels. The sixth sense is feeling, it's your emotions, because you're a sensitive. Everyone's a sensitive. Everyone's an intuitive being. So um, it's really important that we realize that when I see clairvoyantly, that's only one, and each spirit communicates differently. And that's because each spirit is different personality. So some more visual, some more auditory, some more sensing, and I sense really well with them. But there'll be some spirits who will come to me in my mind, and of course my guides probably provide this, and I'm open to any way they want to come in. The little girl is really easy to me see objectively. Now, objectively is a very rare ability in clairvoyance. So objective means outside of yourself. So I'm seeing her physically standing there. It's only happened 3 other times in my life. So most visions of clairvoyance are subjective. It's working inside the medium's mind, the third eye, and it happens within their being, their light body, if you want to call it that. But that's the impression. So it's in there. Same thing with clairaudience. Many people think you hear, "Hi, how are you today?" just as clear as could be. Objectively or subjectively. Majority of mediums are subjective, but occasionally you'll certainly get some objective. And I know mediums that work with objective, harder, more skilled, but when you hear it, you hear it. So clairaudient, most mediums clairaudiently will hear thoughts in their heads, and it's kind of a thought with wings, I guess you'd say. It's a thought with a personality behind it. Best way to describe it. And the medium's job in that respect for both those is to really recognize what is subjective and what is objective. And I guarantee you a lot of mediums don't even know the difference.
Huh. I'm really glad that you brought up that point because I know that's a really common question with people. How do I know that the thought that I'm hearing isn't either my imagination or my own thought? And I think that you really, when you said it was a thought with wings, that kind of helps narrow down what it feels like, how you can tell the difference between a thought that is not yours.
It's a thought with a personality. And so remember, mediumship is so subtle, it's so sensitive that you have to be able to be subtle about it. And when I don't put you can't push them to come through. If you push it, you're putting walls up. And my audience too, in the beginning, when I mentioned to my audience, or this a one-time sitter at first, just a one person, I'll say, please stop thinking of that loved one. We all know you're here wanting him, but I say, James, Henry, come to James, hit him, kick him. But I have a sense of humor, but most people tend to do that because they don't know any better. And my job at the very beginning of a demonstration or a one-on-one reading is to really, I'm the teacher. I'm going to instruct them how the process is. And if you're sitting there saying, come to me, come to me, come to me, you're blocking the energy. You're bringing it in instead of out. And so you'll get more stuff and you're clouding up that field, the mind field. And so it's harder for them to come in with those conditions. So it's hard for them. And think how disappointed they are because you shut them down by doing that. So it's really the opposite. So you want to keep an open mind. You send out a thought early in the day, but then let it go. You don't try to control anything. And then you'll give them the space to come through in an easier way. And I also tell people, never expect to hear who you want to hear from, because there might be a more important message for you from the spirit world. And I also point out, Lisa, which it's interesting, when I get on stage or when I want to say, I'm working for them. I'm not working for you. You look very nice. You're lovely, but I'm really working for the team up here, because they know what you need, what the audience needs. And they know I give them they're the stage manager, director. So I'm just a vessel and you're the receiver. When you put things in perspective for your audience or your individual, they start looking at this work differently, which they should. Because it's not psychic work. Mediumship is very different than psychic. And you really have to be willing as a medium to really walk that fine line, the tightrope, really, and get out of the way. Let them do the work. You have to be so strongly grounded and open and not pushing. I call it a passive activism. You got to be very, very passive, but yet if you're aware what's going on in your space around you. There's one story I would like to share with you, which is interesting. As a medium, if you're working in the audience demonstration, this happened. It was really amazing for me to learn that I was working with this lady in the audience, and it was her aunt who came through. Very good communicator. And as I'm working with her, you're juggling. You're very aware of what's going on all around you. You have to be hypersensitive. As I'm working with her, I'm aware of a spirit man, coming over to the side with his arms folded. And I go, oh, here we go. Okay, I get this one. And I said to him telepathically, is this your daughter? And he said, yes. And I said, do you want to communicate with her? And he said, why would I want to do that? I didn't believe in this in life. Why would I leave it now? And I said, that's okay. But if you want to watch, please do. And he did. And he was aware that the lady, his daughter was hearing everything I said that the aunt was saying. The aunt had brought the husband, that was her brother, to the event. And slowly he got more interested and more interested. He got closer and closer. He goes, can I give this a try? And I go, yeah, of course you could. It went on to an incredible communication, cry. And he wasn't able to love his daughter in a lifetime. And he apologized to her that he didn't show her love. And he said, I didn't know about love, so I couldn't teach you, my darling. I'm so sorry. And everyone in the audience felt that, but it also did something more important, Lisa. It freed him up. When we go to the spirit world, we're there with all our subconscious. Everything in our subconscious comes out. So everything we did and didn't do are unpacked. And this man was in, because I was raised Catholic, a little purgatory, or a space of, oh, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, which many of them are. And this was holding him back from moving on because it was unfinished business, you could say. And this gave him what he needed to move further. So that's why I say, well, let them work at it. I don't try to do it. Amazing, isn't it?
It is. And I'm really glad that you told that story specifically, because that's, again, another question that many people have about when you pass through the veil, whatever wording you use personally. Some people believe that it's instantaneous bliss. You're healed of all of your human stuff. Other people think that you have maybe gone to hell or purgatory or you're in limbo. So in your experience, is it all of the above, or depending on the person's beliefs and lifetime?
It's exactly all that. In that, it's your belief system that brings you to where you're going to go. There is no pain in death. I'm looking forward to moving on. It's a breath out. It's more painful on this earth. It's more painful going to the dentist than it is to leave your body. We leave our body every day or every night. When we go to sleep, the soul will leave the body out of the crown chakra. And sometimes you feel like before you're sleeping, you shake, and it's usually because the spirit is not leaving at the correct axis, so it comes right back in and it goes out. And the people in the spirit world come to get you at night sometimes, your family, your teachers, and you go to this astral world and have experiences and take classes. And I always teach when I'm over there, when I'm doing a seminar. And it's very interesting. So everyone's belief system is different. It'll bring them to where they're at. So if you have like a Catholic, my mother was very Catholic. When she passed over to the other side, which is really all around us, that's where it's just a step in. Number one, it's our natural space. That's where we come from. It's our home. It's a world of love and fine love. The vibration is so fine that love is more experienced there and everything. And she was met by a priest. There are many people that are met by Jesus. It's whatever their belief system is. So, and it really helps them to acclimate themselves right away, and they feel comfortable. And many times also, Lisa, a majority of times, they will set up in the spirit world with their thoughts, because it's a mental vibration. So everything's done through thought there. They will create with their minds the mother's home, just what it looked like when that soul was a child, and everything down to the cups and the products. They can create that. And they can come to mother's house. They'll bring them to mother's house. This looks just like her house younger. I don't understand. It feels like a dream. And there's their mother there, and they embrace her. You just rest for a little bit. You'll be fine. The reason they do that is to acclimate that soul, to realize that, and get them slowly to realize they're out of the body, if they have no belief system, per se. So they know what'll happen.
Thanks for listening. Check out Castle Gate, a novel based on my own ancestral healing journey, at lisabonis.com. In 1921, 4 men set off from Scotland to the United States. Will Garrock, his brother Pete, his son Willie, and his nephew Thomas, all coal miners. They left behind the miners' rows and the nationwide mining strike with its soup kitchens. Their destination was Castlegate, Utah, where they had kin to welcome them before sending for their wives and children. They prospered in America, working in one of the finest mines in Utah. Until that tragic day, March 8th, 1924. Disaster struck. 3 explosions, trapping 171 men inside. Rescue crews worked tirelessly for days, but sadly, they could not save a soul. Women were widowed and children were orphaned, and some never recovered from their broken hearts. Castlegate is the true and tragic saga of a Scottish family whose dreams of finding their fortunes in the bountiful coal mines of Castlegate, Utah during the Prohibition era explode in one of the most devastating mine disasters in American history. Learn more at lisabonis.com.